using Microsoft Publisher 2016 to make personalized return address labels. For this example, we're going to assume and use the Avery brand number 18167, which can be purchased, for example, at Staples or Amazon or maybe some sort of office supply store. So start Publisher either from your task menu bar icon or from your apps, or if you have older Windows 8, Windows 7, etc., it's basically your programs icon. Locate and start Publisher. Then go to More Blank Page Sizes. Left click once. Within the More Blank Page Sizes, you have Standard, Custom, Publication Types, and Manufacturer. Manufacturer would be such as the names of the Avery, so it's brand names. Either use the wheel mouse to scroll down or left click and hold the scroll bar and maybe move down so you can see things a little bit better. But in the manufacturer area, we want the Avery US letter, so I'm going to left click once. And with the built-in templates, these are categorized, and there's several templates, as you can see, within each category, such as if you had a 3-ring binder or divider, you could make envelopes or stickers for that. So that's the binder divider tab. If I scroll down, either again the wheel mouse or left click and drag the scroll bar on the side, my next section is business cards, and I can continue to scroll. I've got for design paper, for greeting cards, mailing labels. There's even stuff after the mailing labels. If I go down far enough, there's media labels such as CD labels or name tags. But this video is to cover the return address label, so that's under your mailing labels. So I've found my mailing labels, and again we're under Avery, and we want to use the number 18167. So these numbers are in a numerical order. So I have now found 18167. Left click once to select, and if I look on the far right, it shows the number. It says it's for return address labels. It gives me some information such as the page size. Page size in this case means your area where you're going to be putting information in for the page within Publisher, not the sheet size. Sheet size is for your paper for 8.5 by 11. It's also letting me know that there's 4 columns of 20 rows, so here's 4 columns and there's 20 within each column. That should be correct for what I need, so I'm going to left click on Create. And if you notice, this is our page size. The white outline represents the label or the sticker. That's the Easy Peel sticker. The inside line represents your margin. I would recommend when it comes to labels to just leave those margins as is. So now we are ready to draw our text box. In the Home tab, look for the Objects group and find text box or draw text box. Left click once, and as I bring the mouse down, the cursor has changed to a plus sign. So I'm going to locate the upper left of the text box, and I'm going to left click and hold While holding, I'm going to go to the opposite corner to the lower right, but in this case, for a return label, I'm going to recommend that you expand your text box below what you need to begin with. There'll be a reason for that. That's because of the size of the text and the spacing of the text. When you first type everything out, it'll be easier to see everything. Then we will adjust the size of what is required. Before I type, right now that blinking cursor, if I wanted to know the size of that, if I look in my ribbon menu, I see that the font is a Calibri and it's a number 10 size. To change the size, I can either expand where it's the number 10 and select the new size value, or I could have selected the large A or the small a. The large A, I left click on that to increase the size. The small a, I left click on that to decrease the size. So I'm going to leave it at a number 6 for now, and I'm going to start typing my return address. And if you notice, the spacing is almost double on here, so that was the reason for the enlarged text box. To change the spacing, having the cursor where it's currently at, I can left click and hold the mouse button, drag the mouse backwards over the text till everything has been highlighted, then right click, which gives me a menu, and I want change text. Don't left click on it, just put the mouse over it, and then take the mouse over and down to paragraph. Here's where you will left click, so left click once. I get a paragraph dialog box, and I have between line spacing. Currently it's 1.19. I'm going to select the down arrow twice. Then we'll select OK, and that's made everything a little bit tighter in here. It looks like I could even go even a hair tighter, and by making it a hair tighter, a little bit tighter, I can then increase the font size so I can utilize as much of my label as possible. So with everything still selected, I'm going to right click. I'm going back to the change text, the paragraph. Now I'm going to change the 0.69 down to 0.44. And seeing what I've got here. There we go. Sometimes it's just a display issue. All I did was slightly move my text box and it cleaned up the display. And as you can see, I still got a little bit of room. But I'm going to select the text, select the large A to increase the font size once or twice, maybe even 3 times. Then in an empty area on the graphics area, just left click once, and now I have my label. If everything appears correct, make sure to save this. As of right now, it's a generic unsaved file. It just says publication 1. So to save, I'm going to select File, Save, This PC, Documents, give it a name, whatever is descriptive to you, so you know it's a return address label. And once I save it, I go back to the main screen that shows the address label, and in the very top bar of the window, I will see the new name as what I typed. Once I'm happy with this, I can now print it. Make sure your paper is in the printer correctly. Most printers, if it is a tray printer where the paper's on the bottom, in most cases there the page goes in face down, so your labels are on the bottom. If you have a top feed printer where the paper's kind of coming from the back of the printer and going down, that is usually you place the paper in so the labels are on top. For clarification, you may want to go to your printer manual and verify. Or you may even want to use a scrap piece of paper to do a print test page to make sure everything is clear and to make sure your text size is the way you want it. So we're going to go File, Print, and if you notice something with the print, we only made one label, but because of the Avery label that we selected had the 4 columns, 20 in each column, that is what we have. Make sure your printer selection is correct, the copies of each label is correct, your layout options, anything of that nature. I'm not going to get too involved with all your print settings. We're just going to assume everything's good for one complete page. Select your number of copies and then left click to select print. And once I select the print button, and you may hear my printer in the background, but once you select the print button icon, you will be taken back to your main page with your label. And that is as far as I'm going to go for this lesson.